on this ceremony and the dedication of the lovely grounds around here on this particular occasion. And I'm going to, at this point, turn this presentation and dedication over to Joseph Norton, who is the chairman of our Board of Selectmen. Joseph.
Thank you, Mrs. Laidlaw. I would like to now read a resolution. Whereas we have assembled today in formal observance of National Lighthouse Weekend, today in the town of Scituate, our observance will be twofold. Whereas it was the Scituate Light that the American Army of Two in September of 1814 successfully drove a British ship of war from our shores, a reenactment of which we will present today with the British ship in the guise of the Spirit of Massachusetts. And whereas we will also dedicate this beautiful and just completed park surrounding our historic lighthouse, thereby creating an appropriate setting for Scituate's jewel in the crown. And whereas the town of Scituate, its elected and appointed officials and residents are indeed grateful to many for their dedication to the preservation of historic landmarks and their hard work in ensuring that these landmarks be maintained for future generations. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Selectmen of the town of Scituate hereby declare Sunday, August 6th to be Scituate Lighthouse Day, to begin the celebration of National Lighthouse Day tomorrow, and to dedicate this park in honor of that celebration. And further be it resolved that Mrs. Kathleen Laidlaw of the Historical Society and Mr. David Ball of the Cedar Point Association, the Division of Conservation Services who provided the Urban Self-Help Grant for this park, the members of the reenactment and the crew of the Spirit of Massachusetts, accept the thanks of the town for their efforts towards this celebration. Signed, Joseph Norton, Donald Brown, Gerald Dwight, Evelyn Ferrara, Andrew Zalona, Selectman, and Pauline Gibbons, Town Clerk. And I now would like to turn the microphone over to the father, really, of this parking lot project, Dave Ball.
Thanks, Joe. Very shortly, the flags of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the town of Scituate will be run up this pole, and Lighthouse Park will be officially dedicated, ending a 15-year quest by the Cedar Point Association to construct this facility. These two flags well symbolize the spirit of cooperation that has existed between the local neighborhood, the town of Scituate, and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Since this weekend marks the 200th anniversary of this nation's first public works project, it is gratifying to observe a project that serves a public need and is constructed in an efficient and timely manner. The public can now enjoy this national treasure in a more pleasant setting. The Cedar Point Association is appreciative of the support and guidance it has received over the last few years and wishes to publicly thank at this time the following: Scituate Town Meeting members for their vote to appropriate the local funding share, Senator William Golden and Representative Frank Hines, Scituate Board of Selectmen, Scituate Planning Board and Conservation Commission, Michael Loring, Grants Coordinator, Constantine Constantinides, former Planning Board member, Jerry Kamen, Beautification Commission, and there's one last person that I'm going to mention now that really was the guy that was literally in the trenches. He was the one that kept the park and the parking lot open every day. There wasn't a single day that people couldn't at least come out here, all during the construction. And the Cedar Point Association is extremely appreciative of all of his efforts for a job really well done. So I'm going to ask Jimmy to come up here. We have a photograph of the completed project and a gift certificate that we're going to present to him now. In a couple of minutes, we're going to, Jimmy, don't go too far. We're going to give him a little test. He's going to help us run up the flag. I'm going to turn this over to Representative Frank Hines, and then we'll put the flag up and the dedication will be complete.
Thank you very much, Dave. I know Mrs. Laidlaw is somewhat concerned today because of the fog and the inability to see clearly the Spirit of Massachusetts, which is off the coast. But truly, I think, as I told her earlier, the fog today gives us all a real signal and a sign as to why this lighthouse was truly necessary in this point in 1810 when it was constructed. 200 years ago tomorrow, President Washington in 1789 signed what Dave Ball referred to as the first public works project in the early United States of America. Congress had authorized the United States to take over the existing lighthouses, and then had authorized as well additional money to be spent to construct new lighthouses. In 1810, a state representative from Massachusetts, Captain Jesse Dunbar, was successful in petitioning the Congress of the United States, and they authorized $4,000 for the construction of this lighthouse. It's appropriate that almost 200 years later, that partnership between residents of Scituate and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts continues, as witnessed by the dedication of this lovely park here today. $164,000 from an urban self-help grant from the Commonwealth, together with monies from the town of Scituate, will enable this park to be created and to really enhance the beauty of this lovely, unique, special place in the town of Scituate. I'd like you to join with me in recognizing two folks who are most responsible for what we have today. Please put your hands together and give a great round of applause for Mrs. Kathleen Laidlaw. And secondly, recognizing as one all the people who live in Cedar Point, particularly the Cedar Point Association.
Now I know that one of the main reasons you're here are for this reenactment of the American Army of Two. I'm sure 3/4 of you have read this story and you know what we're going to do today, or try to do. The fog is a problem, but we'll try to overcome that, and maybe it'll burn off by the time we get to that part of the program. Now, I'm going to take you back to 1810, when this beautiful little lighthouse was built. By 1811, we had the first lightkeeper and their family, Simeon Bates and his family. Within that family were two girls, Rebecca and Abigail. At this point, Rebecca was about 15, and Abigail was about 15, and Rebecca was 17. Now, by 1812, we were at war with the British, and the British vessels were going up and down the point here, all along the coast. And in June of 1814, one of those warships came just off the coast here, just off the mouth of the harbor. They got into their small boats, and they came into Scituate, and they said they wanted supplies. Well, Scituate said, no way are we going to feed the enemy. And so they got very angry, and they burned 10 ships that were in the harbor. And many of these ships were loaded with supplies, which the people in Scituate needed very badly. So this was quite a disaster. And at this point, a call was made for the militia to come down here. And I hope a call is made for our militia to come at this point. I don't see John Thomas, who's supposed to. Okay, you told them that they are supposed to come. They are going to come onto the point here, and because the authorities in Boston felt that this town and the lighthouse here needed protection after this very disastrous attack that the British had made on Scituate. And so many of these vessels were coming up and down the coast. And I am trying to fill in some time here because I expect to hear the drummers and fifers marching up on the point. They're coming here to guard the lighthouse and take care of the town during this very troubled period. The color guard that you see is from the USS Constitution.
Musket band. Left, tight. Musket band. Okay, smile up. All the tall ones get in front. Good. Roll up. Smile up. Boys, smile up. Advance, Pilot. Boys, Pilot. Now cook, Pilot. And up, cover. Runner, load.
I hope they get good wind.